As we enter a whole new day in trade, let's take a look at the global cues from last night. Now, the USA had a good session. The Dow was up 100 points at close. The S&P gained 0.8%, snapping a two-day losing streak. The Nasdaq gained 1.5%, rallying the most as big tech stocks rebounded very sharply. Now, Netflix gained 10% plus yesterday in extended trading after posting very good results, very strong subscriber growth, and will consider a buyback as well. Now, investors are on the lookout for further information about Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus plan, which should soon be hitting the asset markets. Dow futures are currently up around 50 points this morning. S&P has gained 0.3% on the futures, and Nasdaq futures have climbed around 0.5%. So very good information and price action coming out of the US market last night. Now, Asian stocks were a bit mixed this morning. Surprisingly, investors are waiting for China's benchmark lending rate to be put out, which is expected to be out at around 10 a.m. their time. The Nikkei opened flat but quickly dipped into negative territory. The Topix was down 0.30%. However, the Kospi, which has been the best performing Asian index, arguably, was up 0.6%, and then Australia was doing very well as well, up around 0.55%. European stocks yesterday fell. The Stoxx 600 ended the session down by around 0.2%. Basic resources segment and travel shares both lost around 1.4% to lead the losses. However, most sectors and major bourses dipped into negative territory yesterday, so it was a tough day for the European markets. So, depending on where you're looking, you're getting a bit of mixed cues this morning. Europe ended weak. Asia was a bit mixed. US did well yesterday, but it wasn't like we saw 200-300 point gains. We saw modest gains on each of the benchmarks, right? I guess now the next round of stimulus will really determine what happens to equities as well as other asset classes like oil and gold. Now, oil prices, incidentally, climbed yesterday along with the US stocks. Brent futures for March delivery were up over $1. They were in fact up $1.15 or about 2% to settle at $55.90 per barrel. And then US WTI crude settled around 62 cents or 1.18% higher at $52.98 per barrel. Gold held on to gains on Tuesday as well because the dollar remained under pressure. Let's remember, this is all on the back of the dollar index weakening. What we saw last week was a bit of strengthening in the dollar index, and now the last 2 to 3 trading sessions, we've seen that taper off slightly, and instantly we've seen a knee-jerk reaction in equities where they've performed better, particularly here on the emerging market side. So gold also tends to do well when the dollar remains under pressure. So spot gold was up 0.2% at $1,840 per ounce, and then US gold futures settled up 0.6% to $1,840 per ounce. So those are the global cues for this morning. Based on that, we should be in for a fairly decent day in trade. Of course, if there's any massive change in the futures, we'll be bringing that to your attention.